are
I'm
we
half
talking about
Spanish,
again?
half English, and 1/4 Neanderthal.
I will tell you an absolute truth. Actually, I did the ancestry thing, and I have very dark eyes, and I'm I actually have olive skin. I am probably the whitest person you know. And also the one of the highest counts of Neanderthal that they have on 23andMe.
Whoa.
And so I'm like 4'11", and I had naturally red hair, actually very dark eyes and dark skin. I also have a teeny tiny sliver of African in me, but most of it is like
Ew.
English. Yes, I have hair. So, you guys,
Ew.
so where
So
did
you're almost a pure blood, is what you're telling us.
no, well, not
With
really.
everyone in here, you are surrounded by mutts.
I can probably beat more of you at Neanderthal than anything else. So yes, I probably am one of the closest representations left of what a female Neanderthal would look like.
And how are you
Nice,
enjoying
nice.
those royalties from the Geico commercials?
I don't get any. I'm so sorry.
Oh shoot.
So I guess most people who
Oh no.
are from the northern European region are more likely to have Neanderthal in them than others, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't think the Neanderthals ever went extinct. We just all intermingled and
crossed.
became one species.
Well, my
You're
whole
not
thing is
one
I
species.
just think they
Everybody
were
knows.
I think they were just people. That's kind of how I always viewed it, but
Dude,
Most
no,
likely.
no,
But I guess
no.
they say there's some genetic difference between the what they consider true human at the time and them, but it was so negligible they just kind of became one big happy family.
Wrangler, you know
if they
that's a
can get
lie
their
because we're not
on-
happy and we're not a family. Also, autism is not a human species. Everybody knows this. That's why they're weird.
One for you,
All right.
wow.
Actually, no, physically we are, but we just don't really fit in like we are. We're social
Andrew,
creatures.
don't play
Autism
poker.
neuters your social skills. So yeah, we're always going to feel like they call it wrong planet syndrome for a reason. You're always going to feel like you don't sink in with the rest of humanity.
Frequency.
The feeling of not being quite human amongst autistic people is very real for us, but factually it's inaccurate.
I have a
Frequency.
question.
Tell
So,
Andrew.
oh, yeah.
Tell Andrew, don't play poker.
Oh,
gamble.
yeah, I got you.
No. Anyway, so what for people with kind of mental differences or deficiencies, whatever you want to call them, well, how does it show up differently when it's injury related versus something you're just born with? Like, I know that's kind of a broad question, but
Yeah, I guess head injury could pretty much replicate a natural neurological disorder. It's kind of roll of the dice on that, though. I mean,
Yeah, you
there's so many variables up in these knuckleheads to
mess us up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for sure that happened to me when I was younger. Not sure how it affected me. I never knew about it growing up. I think it made it learning a little bit harder for me in certain ways. And then I had some weird like speech kind of things when I was younger.
Oh, yeah, I still do. I don't know if you guys can hear. Every now and then I'm actually struggling to physically form a word, but most of the time it's more like everything's a jumble up here. I know what I want to say. I just can't reach for those words to convey it, and I'll stammer and stutter. But
do any of y'all know the statistics?
I think
like people who don't have an inner monologue.
I don't know what it is, but I don't. I
don't know what it is to not have one.
Yeah.
It never shuts the hell up.
From what I remember, it's a pretty sizable part of the population does not have that.
Yeah,
I find it tough to believe.
It actually.
Yeah, I don't. I see images and stuff, but yeah.
Okay. What was that, RH Snow?
It's related to the speech portion of the brain. I actually studied and taught early childhood education for a long time. And one of the things we study is brain development. And when you have certain ways of thinking, and some people think in pictures, and they think in terms of actually seeing the world around them. And inner monologue is related to translation of words into an internal thought process. And so, no, not everybody actually has that. And also, some people have the ability to rotate images, for instance, in their head. If you can take a picture and you can see back, That's an important part of engineering, and that relates to spatial. And then there are other people who actually can play back entire symphonies in their head and be able to see that whole or hear that whole song that they've just heard. So
Damn right.
yeah, these different ways of doing things. And how many of you are actually able to rotate images in your head? Just can you
Kinda.
actually? You can do
Yeah,
it.
I can.
I grew up on job sites.
No,
so I kind of had to.
I
think
can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the internet.
And then for a while, I was solving Rubik's cubes.
Yeah. No, and that's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Although I was cheating on that, I learned the algorithms and just executed them. That's all.
wow.
So Snow, what does it mean when someone doesn't have an internal monologue going? Like for me, I can think with like words and sentences in my head, but it's not how my brain normally works. It's like it's a forced thing if it ever happens.
I believe that in this case, because you have that internal monologue, it's simply that you're not translating your own thoughts into a language and then passing it on. If you're seeing the image, then you are doing it's that internal monologue. It's just not words. It's just not a spoken voice. You're not hearing yourself think out loud and then say it. So that is it's just a different way of your brain, but you do have something that forms prior to you saying something. Otherwise, you wouldn't have language. You are actually translating on the fly the picture or the thought that you have into a word, and you are creating as you speak. So that's how that your internal monologue is just a visual one. There are a lot of people
that makes sense.
They're a lot of people don't do well with listening to somebody tell you something. A lot of men, especially, are not good at listening to somebody else go yippity 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 yippity. They want to see it. They want to look at it in a setting. Have to manipulate
me too.
Yeah,
you throw a bunch of words in a row at me, I'm just going to hear a bunch of words in a jumble. You show me, then it sticks. Now, my brain never shuts up with words, even though they're constantly all jumbling up, but it never stops with visual images either. It's like a constant barrage of both, and neither one ever shut off.
Yeah,
No,
so
that
that's
sounds fun.
That's a visual kinesthetic learner.
Can be.
So that person is, and so when you think of yourself, it's you simply aren't hearing the voice, but you actually are taking a different step. So instead of saying that you don't have an internal monologue, say that you are translating your thoughts into words so other people understand. So you actually are taking an extra step that other people who have that internal spoken dialogue that they're hearing, you're actually taking the time to actually translate your thoughts into words. And it's possible that you would even be a better writer because you are able to see the visual image and turn it into words rather than just hearing that stream coming across.
Okay, that's
cool. But strangely though, I suck with the spoken word. I mean, once in a while I might get going on a roll, but then I'm like, blah, 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 and then all of a sudden I blank out entirely. I can't think of anything. But I used to say, I got this, neurological. I think the word you were looking for earlier, Kahuna, is neurodivergent, which
yes,
I can't stand that word either.
I
and the other one I really can't stand is neurotypical. It's called normal. That's it, normal.
Why are they trying to complicate everything?
Because they want to politically correct everything up, and it pisses me off.
Just
You know what the word was when I was growing up? Retard. It wasn't an insult. It just was a thing. That's just what it was called. Before that, it was idiot, but people started calling each other idiot as an insult. So they changed it from idiot to retard. People started calling each other retard as an insult. So they made it mentally handicapped and mentally deficient, which was just flat out condescending.
Yeah.
And now
and deficient
I don't know what it is now, but I just call it retarded.